Okay, so who goes first?
Me.
Okay.
So I kind of went into how it talks about Rosa Vargas and how she has too many kids, and there's a lot of prejudice against women, and they have to be doing this certain role, and Esperanza keeps going into that throughout the book. She keeps going into the fact that all women have to fit into this role, and how she doesn't want to fit in it, but she's worried that she will end up doing that. And then also, previously in the book, it talked about her great grandma who ended up sitting by the window. And it almost seems like Rosa ends up doing the exact same thing because she was kind of forced into this mother's role and doing it on her own. I also saw the strand of how it says too many and then too much and then so many. And then it also connected with how it's just one against these, all of these kids. The other strand I noticed was in the third paragraph. It talks about bend and bounce and dangle and break, and those all kind of seem similar to me. And then on the next page, there were a lot of comparisons of the of different. So it says like a sugar donut and like a falling star, kind of a thing. And so I kind of went into the falling star, and it can symbolize good luck, a charge or a change or event, big event, a symbol of endings, and also reaching one's ultimate destiny. And so in this situation, I thought it could maybe symbolize something coming in Esperanza's future, almost like a bit of foreshadowing, and maybe she'll finally have some luck in getting what she wants from life. So
we're gonna ask questions about
yeah.
that one. Okay. So I have a quick question for the end. So when Angel Vargas, when he just jumped off the top of the roof and thought he could fly, and he just died. Okay, so so it said that no one even said an O or reacted, but do you think that was even including his mother, as she didn't even care that he died because of how rotten children are? Yeah.
That seems to be kind of what it's leaning towards, almost Rosa had almost given up on all of her children, and so she wasn't super surprised when all of these things kept happening with Ephraim and Refugia and Angel and all of those things. So yeah, I think she was included in that.
How fairly do you think? How fairly do you think these children were treated? This kind of treatment, considering the fact that their father up and left them.
I feel like maybe he because of their father leaving, it almost had an effect on them, and maybe that was why they were so rotten. And so because of that, it turned Rosa into having been oh, he just upped and left me, and so she almost neglected her children somewhat when she couldn't change the way they were acting.
Her father is
Which one?
Yeah.
African healing?
So I had the woman,
the first two.
and then Rosa.
Okay.
So first of all, I'm gonna say I have no idea how to pronounce her name. Is it Alicia?
Alicia.
Okay. So I noticed a strand of how it continually talks about her family. So it talks a lot about her father and her mother, and then I also noticed again there's this, it talks about a rolling pin and how she inherited it from her mother, and also the sleepiness, and so the rolling pin is a stereotypical women's type thing, and so it's talking about how, once again, this is the role that women are supposed to go into. And then the sleepiness, it almost seems like she's once again meant to sit by a window, and she's this dormant thing. And then I also saw like it was interesting that she was afraid of like her father too. It almost suggests like an abusive relationship between them.
What do you think the importance of the mice is in this?
I don't know. That was an interesting thing that I started to notice. It like why would it be mice? Because it almost suggests this like uncleanliness in their home that she's trying to get out, and she's afraid of this uncleanliness.
Gotcha.
Okay, I know we're running out of time.
Okay, so
but
Darius.
I just want to ask one question. So, Haley, what do you think that I'm just like, it's kind of like a question and a statement, but do you think that Elisa got the role in from her mom, maybe to defend herself from her father, in case if he does try to hurt her in any way, she has a way of
That's a really good point, actually. I hadn't thought about that. That could be a possibility.
What do you think?
Alright.
Good stuff.
Alright, so now on to me. Oh gosh. Okay, so Darius in the clouds, and so basically they're talking about sky and clouds. So it basically, and also Darius, and how Darius is kind of like a very like class clown kind of guy ish, and also he thinks that he's tough, so he's like kind of part of two different types of worlds and stuff. But basically towards the end, like they were talking about him, and then towards the end they were looking at cows and how he like started pointing out stuff and said, that one looks like popcorn, and then the other one, then eventually all of a sudden it just clicks to God, and then so it's kind of like how I'm trying to think of it, but basically I'm just okay. You know what? Never mind. Don't mind. Okay, so basically I'm just saying Darius is apparently a figure in the book of Daniel, and he is the king of Babylon, which the book of Daniel is a 2nd century BC apocalypse, and which it's basically related to the Bible. So there could be a connection between Daniel and how he sees God in the clouds and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, Darius was a really arrogant king, very proud, but he was somewhat humbled and also amazed by Daniel's ability to prophesy.
So it talks about like the sky, and then it suddenly switches to butterflies and flowers. Why do you think that is?
Well, because the very simple answer to that is like they all fly in the sky, and how since they've been looking at clouds and looking at the sky, they could be seeing birds like butterflies and what was it else? Butterflies and what?
Flowers was the other thing.
Well, maybe not flowers, but butterflies. But basically, butterflies are flying in the sky. They could be seeing them and how analyzing how they fly around.
I think it might still also be like how it's like the kind of like beautiful things, like like butterflies and flowers and like clouds,
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Oh, okay, and some more. Okay, let's go to and some more, I guess. So this whole thing was they first start off by talking about Eskimos have like 30 different names for snow, and then it starts to transition to the sky again and clouds again, and how and then he's like, hey Esperanza, do you think that cloud has a name? And then that one, and then basically she goes on this long tangent of naming different clouds and all that stuff. While in the background, Esperanza is arguing with her friends. Like, I wasn't sure if it was like playful arguing or if it was like genuine arguing, but I'm not sure about that one. But because like we saw like later in the later chapters they were together again. But yeah, and then and eventually finishes off with Nenny labeling off the last ones as Rachel, Lucy, Esperanza, and Nenny, which are the ones that are all around each other in that current happening. So yeah.
Why do you think so much time was just spent on explaining different types of clouds?
So like I feel like it kind of is like Nenny's little innocence in her, and how we all had that kind of phase when we were small, and how we were like we always just saw the world as better and more bright, and how like we thought clouds could actually be people, but just not bodies, but basically they had feelings and like they had personalities and stuff and had names. And yeah.
So why do you think why do you think they put the part in why they're like arguing
Well,
about
about okay, yeah.
like about her mom, how her mom's toes are ugly or something? Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about that one. I didn't really think of that one.
So there seems to be a connection between snow and clouds. Why do you think that is?
Because that snow is like clouds. They're both white and oh shoot, you're going over
It's
time.
okay, just finish.
Yeah. Well, basically, snow and clouds are, white, and how they're both kind of in a way just a great sight to look at. The snow is like an amazing feeling to walk on and feel, and how it's just always amazing to play in. And then seeing clouds is just amazing, and thinking about how those just pass over us every day, and how it's I don't know.
I think it's interesting. Just a quick note. I think it's interesting that like the clouds and snow kind of represent childhood, and maybe it's like Esperanza is kind of moving out of that. Because you notice like Nanny just calls them names, talks about how puffy they are, and Esperanza's like that's a cumulus. They're all cumulus today. They're all from Nimbus cloud. Like she's being more mature, advanced.
Yeah. Okay. So who has the next one?
I think it's the family of Little Feet. Like starts out of like Esperanza, like having like a little story, like about like people's feet, and like how their grandpa slept on the couch, like and his fat were like doughy, thick, like tamales, and how their grandma were like lovely pink pearls, and like how their moms were like plump and polite, and this kind of like it's like maybe like how they are, I guess, maybe in real life, like kind of like how their grandpa's, I don't know, maybe like fat and kind of lazy, and like yeah, okay, and also by the end they were like talking about like lemon shoes and how like lemons are kind of like I mean they're like they look kind of good I guess, but like when you bite into them they're like not like a lot of people don't eat them, and like by the end like you don't really like it, and like kind of like wrapped up on how the end of they didn't want the shoes anymore, and yeah, also yeah. Yeah, and that's and the blue, there's the blue shoes. No, they're white shoes that like turn blue, like they kind of like got like an effect. I think that like kind of like represents like Esperanza and like something like people having an effect on her and like affecting, Okay.
Right. So, what do you think the importance is? Like, did you notice the way, like, what was it? How they're all like happy, like it's Christmas, we're Cinderella, like really young. We got our shoes, and then it moves on to like a little bit more mature stuff. Like, if you give me $1, will you kiss me? All the boys looking at her, like, what do you think that might be representative of?
Like maybe her getting older and like I don't know.
Maybe like her transition from childhood to
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think about like how Rachel was actually considering taking the $1 from that one pedophile bum man to give him a kiss? I mean, what do you think?
I was surprised at first, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, but you think
I think that it was like kind of almost materializing her, turning her into an item that could be bought, which is kind of like the theme of this book of women who aren't like one of the themes in this book of women who like don't have freedom and stuff.
Do you think maybe also it's almost showing a little bit more into her character
Yeah, like tell me more about her.
Okay. Do you have a question? No. We need to move on.
Oh, yes. Okay, the next was rice sandwich. And pretty much about like Esperanza like wanting to eat in the canteen because
You have 15 seconds.
okay. Okay. And I kinda oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say about this.
Okay, well, basically, I'll just summarize it really quickly. Basically, Esperanza wants to go eat in the canteen with all the other kids that can't go back home during lunch. And
they
she
live
gets
too
her
far.
permission. Yeah, because they live too far. And then she gets permission from her mom. She gives her a rice sandwich to go, and then she gets caught by the nuns, and the nuns curse her out because she lives too close. Okay,
But like she
Right.
didn't actually live too close. She just
she
they
just
made
didn't want to walk.
yeah
But
they like
yeah.
they like pointed out a house and I was like that's yours, isn't it? And like they kind of forced her to say yes because she was like afraid
Okay.
or something. But yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just do analysis of that one.
Alright.
Okay, no, now it's your turn, I'm guessing.
Okay. Shankal. I don't know how to pronounce Shankla.
Sandals, basically.
Shankla, sandals. So in this chapter, Esperanza gets a bunch of new clothes and socks and a new slip and everything, and because she's going to her cousin's baptism, and she's it's kind of happy for her, but everyone's kind of having a really good time except for her, and she's wearing a new dress and everything. But her feet are kind of scuffed into these shoes that she can't fit into. Her feet are really big and wide, and a boy asked to dance with her, and she just says that she can't because her feet are so stuffed, and she's really embarrassed about it. And she finally reluctantly dances with Uncle Nacho, and who is a liar and says you're the prettiest girl here, and she's getting older. She can now sense lies from adults, and she's becoming more self-aware of herself, and she danced like she's in the movies until I forget that I'm wearing ordinary shoes. So she can still be romanticized by this kind of stuff, but she's getting older, and it's kind of representative of her being more aware of herself and seeing through adults a little bit better.
So, why do you think it was a baptism? Of all things, like there could have been so many events, but it was a baptism.
So there's probably a lot of answers to that, but kind of like tying back to the nun that made fun of her, I think that like maybe the author or Esperanza has maybe a angst against religion, or at least particularly this religion or something. Maybe it does something that she doesn't like, or somehow demotes women or something. I'm not sure because I don't know, but that could be a possibility.
This book has like hints of religion throughout, like such as towards the beginning, with I can't even think of it. Oh yeah, the nun. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. And then like right now,
And the nuns at the school.
yeah, and the nuns at the school, and how she goes to school with the nuns, and how Darius, sees God in the clouds, and he's apparently a figure in the book of Daniel. So.
Yeah, there's a large emphasis on like Catholicism
Yes.
in here, which also I think is important because a lot of people that are Hispanic and everything are Catholics.
Such as my mom, she's Catholic, she's Mexican. Okay, so I don't think I have any more questions for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, so in this one, just to sum up what happens in here, she has a conversation with her friends and Minnie and everyone about how hips are useful for holding up babies and for cooking, and how hips you know, they just do a lot.
Yeah,
They
yes.
dance and everything.
Yeah, and then they do like little legs.
Yeah.
So, I have a question. So basically, I think I just like it's kind of like a statement-ish kind of thing, but I just want to ask what you can maybe make out of it. Like they're basically talking about in this chapter like hips are what define people, like women and stuff like that. So I just wanted to ask like what you can.
Well, I think I've noticed a couple things as these chapters progress. The talking has kind of gone from less childish stuff to more mature stuff, and now they're like talking about women's place in their little society thingy. And the hips are kind of symbolic of women's place because, you know, women are supposed to have nice wide hips. It makes them pretty, but it also, to them, it seems to serve as a function for, you know, holding a baby while cooking, and it, you know, kind of symbolizes that.
What do you think the significance of like the jump roping was? Because like they could have been doing any child's game, so why was it jump roping?
Oh, that's a tough one. I really don't.
Read this
I
now.
really don't know.
Oh,